Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunny in Phoenix podcast, a weekly podcast where we three Suns fans talk to you about Phoenix Suns stuff, and maybe you can learn something. I'm Mitch Crumpetich, and I'm joined by David McGraw and Charlie Erling. What's good?
What's good? Yeah, it's a little different. It's been a while since you've hosted, and all three of us have been here. And
That's right.
it only took you like 10 tries to actually get the intro out, so it's good.
We have some good material for the blooper reel.
Absolutely. And I just had a real busy day today and asked Mitch to take over for this episode. And, I'm just here to spitball about Devin Booker on episode 69 here.
That's right. It is episode 69. Today is the Devin Booker appreciation episode.
Make sure to get a hold of us on social media. Our Twitter is @SunnyandPHXPod. Our email is sunnyandphxpod@gmail.com. And check us out over at our new host, the Deepish Thoughts Podcast Network, over at deepishthoughts.com.
Thanks for listening to the Sunny in Phoenix podcast. If you'd like to further support the show, you can head over to tpublic.com/user/sunnyinphx. That's teepublic.com/user/sunnyinphx. We've got t-shirts, mugs, phone cases, all kinds of stuff. You can get our famous cheese is warming up design, or just one that says Sunny in PHX. Again, tpublic.com/user/sunnyinphx. And go Suns.
This episode is the equivalent of a shit post on Reddit.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have a crummy team and it gets we're into those playoffs. There's not much for us to talk about right now, Phoenix Suns related. We did a way too early draft episode last week. We recognize that.
But it was a dope draft episode.
It was good.
I thought it was good.
It was a good episode, but it was a little early. But what I'm getting at here is we're having some fun with it tonight. We put one of these out for you guys every week. We love that you listen. But, we just wanted to have a good time tonight. We hope you guys enjoy it too.
We're here on episode 69, and we're talking about Devin Booker. So, before we get started with our real talk, I want to go over some basic numbers for our beautiful baby boy, Devin Booker. Drafted with the 13th overall pick in 2015, Devin Booker exploded onto the scene from out of nowhere, and he averaged 13.8 points in 76 games played in the 15-16 season. He started 51 of those games. No one really knew he was going to be the amazing talent that he was, but once we figured that out, he started starting games. He averaged 27.7 minutes per game, and along with those 13.8 points, he also averaged 2.6 assists, 2.8 rebounds, 0.3 blocks, and 0.6 steals. He had a decent season. We were all pretty excited. He came in after a lot of work over the summer, and in the 16-17 season, Devin Booker started 78 games and played 78 games, and had a huge improvement in points, averaging 22.1 points. The rebound numbers went up a little bit, 3.2 rebounds. Assists went up as well with 3.4. Blocks still at 0.3. Steals went up to 0.9, leaving his career stats at 18 points per game, 2.8 rebounds per game, and 3.0 assists. He's a very good shooter. Career average of 35.4% from beyond the arc. And last season he shot 36.3%, which was an improvement from his 34.3% in his rookie season. Along with that, he's a decent free throw shooter. Career average 83.5%. Dipped a little bit in his second season as he had 83.2% from the line as compared to 84.0% in his rookie season.
Yeah, I think the original consensus was a fear of drafting Frank Kaminsky. Not necessarily a fear, but I feel like a lot of people that were hardcore into the Suns just felt like we were going to end up drafting Frank. And then as draft night went on and Justice Winslow dropped and Frank got picked at 9 with the Hornets, there was not really that much of a sure bet of what we were going to do. I feel like Cameron Payne was thrown out a little bit. We just really didn't know. I felt like there was this foregone conclusion that we were just going to end up drafting Frank Kaminsky. And when that didn't happen and Devin Booker showed up, a lot of people thought that we needed sort of a combo guard. I know I originally thought that we should try to go for some sort of forward because of the fact that we had that Brandon Knight, Eric Bledsoe going on. We had just brought in Brandon Knight. We had just gone through the whole 3-point guard thing. We felt like we were still very point guard heavy. And I originally remembered that us picking a wing was something that I wasn't too fond of, but knew that we needed to pick some sort of either shooting guard or small forward hybrid going on. And then Devin Booker showed up, and I know there was a lot of talk originally about him getting picked by, I think, Miami. He was pinpointed at, but with the Justice Winslow fall, it kind of ended up being Justice Winslow with Miami, and then it was the question of, okay, is Devin Booker going to fall to the Suns? And I think that's what most of us kind of felt at that point, was that we were probably going to end up getting Booker as a wing, known as a 3-point specialist in college, not known for really much else, and just thought of as the possibility of having a Klay Thompson upside. And, you know, he may not have a very similar game to Klay Thompson at all now that we've seen him play, but I think going into the draft, that's what we thought of him. And as we were able to really get him as a steal originally, when people thought he was going to go at 10 to Miami, it was kind of a decent surprise.
So how thankful should we be that Michael Jordan, shortly before the draft, said if Frank Kaminsky is there when we get our pick, we're taking him no matter what? Because a lot of us thought, as Suns fans, that, hey, we're probably going to be getting Frank in this draft. So I have a bit of a conspiracy theory behind this. I think that Michael Jordan knew the greatness of Devin Booker. He could see it in him, like during the combine and during that freshman year at Kentucky. He could see it, but he just couldn't be surrounded by it. He couldn't see Devin Booker go to practice every day and just get nasty on everybody. And you know MJ likes to play a little one-on-one with his guys, and I think he would have been a little afraid if Devin Booker challenged him to a game. So I'm pretty sure that's why the Hornets passed on him.
I think that's a very reasonable conspiracy theory. That makes a lot of sense to me. So, yeah, we've all kind of mentioned the spot-up shooting ability, which is definitely there. And I remember when the Suns picked Booker at 13, I was excited just because I knew he was a good 3-point shooter. And I kind of thought that's all he would be. But he's turned into so much more than that. I was one of those people who thought that we would probably be taking Kaminsky as well, but we didn't get him, obviously. And I remember watching some tape of Booker and just not knowing a whole lot about him. He wasn't a starter at Kentucky or anything like that, but it didn't matter. So I was just super pleased with his rookie season because I had literally no expectations. But I remember coming into Summer League, Booker struggled at first with his shooting. And that was something that was kind of scary. But it was a weird point for the team where they didn't have much of an identity, and we didn't really know what direction they were going to be heading. So I wasn't like super nervous or anything, but I'll admit I was a little bit confused. But once that season started and he started to get like really into his groove, it was a super exciting time.
Right, and you know, talking about a team that didn't really have a direction, they didn't know where they were going. After that crazy season where we almost made the playoffs, we were tied for the best team to not make the playoffs. So, like, we didn't know where we were going after that. We thought Knight and Bledsoe, as funny as that sounds today, we thought that Knight and Bledsoe was going to be a solid backcourt for us moving forward. So, before Booker, there really wasn't an identity for this team. And I think that's one of the main things that, like, aside from him being a superstar, like, we have someone we can build around now. We know we have a guy that's going to be an all-pro someday in this league. So that's just big time for us. We know where we're going now because of Devin Booker.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about our identity beforehand, the second half of that season where Brandon Knight was kind of injured, really we didn't have much else. We were starting Eric Bledsoe, PJ Tucker, Marcus and Markieff Morris, and Alex Len, and we were kind of just going out with an very low spacing, all defensive lineup almost, and just playing ball that way, and we ended up not getting a whole lot of wins as compared to the previous year. There was already people starting to say how we sold low on Isaiah Thomas beforehand, right when we traded him, and we kind of, as Suns fans, I feel like almost we're trying to compare that and say, well, we basically got him for nothing, and we turned him into a late first rounder, so at least we got value back from him with the sign and trade from the Kings. But I mean, at that point, we were already getting heat from that. We were getting heat from the Dragic situation in general. But then comes along Devin Booker. And our setup at that point was thinking that Brandon Knight was going to continue to have the season he was having in Milwaukee, where he was basically their entire offense at some points and the only real spacer they had. And that really showed when they traded him and brought in MCW, and they really didn't have any spacing whatsoever and kind of limped into the playoffs. So there was still a lot of high on Brandon Knight at that point. We thought that Devin Booker would be able to possibly turn into a sixth man type of the year kind of player. And then I don't know if what it is, but I remember us talking originally. We hadn't started the podcast yet, and we were just writing the articles on multiple sources at that point. And we were talking about how, I know at least I was, how we should just give Devin Booker more minutes. After the first, 3 games, and he was shooting, 68% from 3 and all this stuff in, 3 minutes a game, I really felt like we just needed to play Devin Booker more. And we didn't really have another option. I mean, we had Ronnie Price and Sonny Weems as our main guards off the bench. And I just remember at that point, I guess we had Archie Goodwin too,
Oh, yeah.
but I just remember at that point just thinking man, we should just give Devin Booker all these minutes, because I mean, who cares? I felt like we were going to be at best, fringe playoff team, and those aspirations died rather quickly. But I still felt like even if we were trying to give these guys minutes, we should just give Devin Booker these minutes and just say screw it, because there's something special about this kid in the first couple games of the season. And maybe it wasn't there in Summer League, but I felt like the starting games against the Mavs in Portland, because we had that back-to-back against Portland, which was really weird. And it was the Steve Nash Ring of Honor game, and then it was Halloween, and they were back-to-back, and it was against Portland. And I just remember watching Booker hit some threes, not really do a whole lot, and I just thought, man, I don't care, I just want to see this kid play more. I don't, there's nothing else, and I think we messaged back and forth about it. It's just let's just give Devin Booker more minutes. Even if he's just a spot-up three-point shooter, he's going to be better than Sonny Weems or Archie Goodwin, because they're just going to drive or not get touches at all. So let's do that. And I felt I feel kind of awesome that we were very early on that bandwagon of just give him as many minutes as possible. It's going to be one of those things where I feel like we'll be I liked that before it was mainstream. And people are just yeah, whatever, grandpa.
Isn't it funny to think that Sonny Weems was getting more minutes than Devin Booker at one point in Booker's rookie season? Just the comparison of player there. That's pretty
It hurt my
pretty
soul
outrageous.
even then, and now it hurts my soul even more.
Yeah, Sonny Weems sucks really bad. So,
Tell us how you really feel.
Thank
Mitch.
you, everyone,
Jeez.
for joining us on episode 69 of the Sonny and Phoenix podcast. This is the Devin Booker appreciation episode. So now let's talk about the most recent season and our thoughts on our baby boy Devin Booker and it.
Well, just look at the numbers. Look at the 70-point game. Started every game he played this season. It's It's almost turning into like a fairy tale for us Suns fans. We've been waiting for something like this for quite a while.
Fairy tale where we lose 58 games still.
Yeah, a beautiful one. It takes a while to progress, but when it gets to the finale of it, that's where
all
it's at.
worth it. To get that 8 seed and
worth
lose to the Warriors.
Hey, you need to have a little more patience, Mitch. I don't know what got
That's
into you
true.
tonight.
That's
but-
true.
So, do you guys remember throughout the majority of the season here, we saw Devin Booker drop how many 30-point games? 13 30-point games, and we just continuously joke around about are we going to see a 40-point game? And then he dropped 70. That's what the next thing in line was. So, I mean, that kind of just says a lot about him. Like, what's he going to do next? We really don't know. Can he be the next Kobe? Can he be the next MJ? Maybe. We just got to find out. But this season, I think we saw a lot of new things from him, and we saw more of his ability to be a leader out on the floor, and we saw how his teammates stand up for him and how they work for him. So just so many things to be excited about.
You know, there were so many jokes. There were so many jokes in general after Kobe's last game against the Suns about how Kobe was actually an alien and then took over Devin Booker's body, and he as like the next, what's the word? Kind of like the next in line, like the continual lineage of the alien that's going to keep on just inhabiting the body of these young pros and take them over and become legends and stuff. And you know, I remember even now there are in jokes in the Suns community about the number 13 pick and how Kobe was the number 13 pick and then Devin was the number 13 pick, and how like there's something about that pick of maybe that like down the line there'll be a 13 pick in Devin Booker's last season. That's something how, you know, it's just this kind of in joke now about how there are a lot of similarities. There are a lot of simulations about. I don't know if I buy into all that stuff. Currently my laptop is sitting on a Kobe Bryant Nikes box because that's just how it goes. It's fate, you know. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think Devin Booker is going to be a Kobe Bryant light or any of those kind of things. I kind of see him as becoming almost a Manu Ginobili type of player, and all those things. I'm trying so hard to keep my expectations tempered, as I guess the right word to use for that.
Hold on. So you see Devin Booker as a career sixth man?
No, I think that
that's all Manu is to me. Just a career sixth man.
I know
he rides
Manu
the coattails of a few better players and a really good coach, and just happens to seem good.
You know, I hate the Spurs, and
I
almost
Spurs
don't even
too.
want to watch. I almost don't even want to watch the conference finals on, because I know that I'm just going to be annoyed no matter what happens, and like none of that matters. But I will say that now is one of those times, and it kind of continued on with the Thunder when they had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, where James Harden came off the bench but was obviously better than Thabo. That you have one of your better players in your lineup come off the bench and play more minutes and is basically a starter, but just kind of helps with a mismatch and all those kind of things. While originally I thought that Devin Booker was just going to be only a sixth man type of player, I thought that his ceiling was going to be one of those where you bring him off the bench as a mismatch for other bench units, and he plays more minutes than whoever's starting before him, whoever that be, whether that Brandon Knight or whatever. But the minutes are staggered where basically, you know, maybe best case scenarios where it's Bledsoe, Knight, and Booker, and they all basically played the same amount of minutes, but the minutes are staggered so that, you know, one of them is, or two of them are on the floor at any single time. So while I don't want to say that I thought that he was only going to be a sixth man or any of those kind of things and just limit it to that, I think you have to look at positions and who comes off the bench and who doesn't a little differently, especially after how Manu was obviously their better shooting guard in San Antonio when he originally became a sixth-man type of player, but they wanted him to come off the bench to prove a bigger impact and play the same amount of minutes.
See, maybe that's what we were trying to do with Brandon Knight, and that just obviously really flopped this season.
Yeah, that flopped hard, man. I mean, like, I think that was kind of the original idea, is to be able to throw out lineups where it was Bledsoe, Knight, and Booker, and have Knight come off the bench, kind of stagger the minutes so two of them are always out. At least that's kind of the feeling that I got originally. But then, of course, that skyfall to whatever. We're not talking. This isn't the Brandon Knight appreciation thread or appreciation podcast.
It's
whatever.
episode 69, the Devin Booker Appreciation Show. So, I just want to say that Devin Booker has become the face of the franchise in Phoenix. And it's something that we always kind of hoped would happen with Eric Bledsoe, but he's kind of a quiet guy. He's a good guy, he's a nice guy, he's a great player, but just very reserved and not as active on the social media, that type of thing. And Booker, 20 years old, he can't even drink. So, I think he's just the kind of player that we needed. He filled a need on the court and off the court. And something that I really appreciate from him is his Snapchat stories, his Instagram. I don't follow him on Facebook. I don't know if he has Facebook. But that kind of thing, his Twitter, it's the kind of thing that today's generation uses a lot for following their favorite players and favorite teams. So I think it's exciting that we have a guy who is utilizing all of these platforms and showing all the cool stuff he's doing while being amazing on the court. So what do you guys think of Booker as our face of the franchise?
I mean, hell, he was the face of the franchise before the season even ended last year. I feel like as soon as he got thrust into the starting job, as soon as Bledsoe went down, it was very quickly like, oh, this kid has the potential to be the face of the franchise. And we sent him to the lottery last year.
Right.
And, he's making the class moves about bringing that girl that has special needs and stuff as his date, like, to the lottery. And he did something similar this year where he's going to represent the Suns at the lottery, and he's bringing along, I think, a boy with Down syndrome.
Yeah, he's like a Special Olympics athlete too. I was just watching a bunch of stuff about it today. It's really cool.
But I feel like very early into his career even, but it ended up working so well. He has become the face of this franchise and something that we wished Eric Bledsoe would be. And I feel like we pushed very hard, and the marketing team pushed very hard for Bledsoe to be originally. But now I think everyone is kind of and it was very early in his career and all those things, but we were pushing hard early for Booker to become that face of the franchise. And, so far it's worked out. And I guess that's all we have to be happy for.
Right. We haven't had a guy like this in Phoenix since Nash. No one brings the national spotlight here. No one's done that since Nash. And now Booker's doing that.
That was good.
Oh, that was good. I didn't even recognize it.
Mitch would be the one person to recognize that.
Yeah,
I would.
King of the puns. We haven't had a guy like this since Steve Nash. We haven't had a guy that brings the spotlight to Phoenix the way that Devin Booker has the potential to do. He's 20 years old. He's a scorer. That's something sexy in the NBA. You got to score points to be sexy. He's also a handsome dude. Believe it or not, that helps out quite a bit. So, the more, could Devin Booker start a Golden State type revolution here in Phoenix? Could he be our Steph Curry and watch some other guys hop on board? I think that's the kind of potential he has. And maybe in a few years, people will want to come play with Devin Booker, and we're going to see what happens here.
That'd be amazing. I mean, KD and Steph are both free agents, right? Maybe they can come to Phoenix after this season and play with Booker.
Ditch Clay. We have a cooler shooting guard here in Phoenix.
He's got a way better haircut.
Let's do this. Buckle up, buckaroos.
I want to throw up really bad. And not like actually legitimately throw up, but like just because of the Steph and KD talk.
Yeah, we know you'd rather have D'Lo and Julius Randle.
Oh my gosh.
Bring
Hey,
D'Lo
now,
and Julius
so
Randle.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There was a thought process going like on my way home from California. There was a thought process.
What
Hold
if
on.
my favorite
No,
Lakers
hold on.
could team up
Hold
with
on.
my favorite Suns?
Hear me out.
And
hear
then
me
it'd
out.
be like the Los
Hold on.
Angeles Suns.
Hold on.
And they could put their stadium on the border of California and Arizona, and we could take all their title. We could share their titles. And
Hey.
it could be like Kobe was actually part of the Suns. That would be fun.
Hold on.
Magic Johnson
off-
on the
first
Phoenix
off,
Lakers.
John Stockton
First
was
off,
better than Magic Johnson.
You dirty. First off, that's not true whatsoever. John Stockton wishes he could be Magic Johnson. But second off, my thought process was, what if we got the second pick and the Lakers got the third pick? Like, it's kind of like looking like it's going to be, right? And what if the Suns could just be like, all right, we're going to pick Lonzo Ball. If you want Lonzo Ball that bad, you need to give us D'Angelo Russell and whatever else. And then pair D'Angelo Russell with Devin Booker in Phoenix, and have D'Angelo Russell try and become, as I kind of think him to be, at least George Hill level. And
Well,
pair him
George
up
Hill
with Devin
sucks,
Booker.
so
Hold on, you're not gonna say that because George Hill was a huge part of the Jazz actually making the playoffs, even though he's injured.
he wasn't even good enough
But
to play for the
anyways.
Pacers. The Pacers
I
suck.
just love that D'Angelo Russell is being compared to George Hill now. That's great. What happened to the D'Lo versus Booker debate?
Yeah.
Now we're just saying D'Lo's like George Hill.
To be
With
fair,
or without the Cisco
Jarrett
haircut.
Jack of
To be
himself.
To be fair, I never compared those two. And second off, I think that D'Angelo has a potential to be better, but at the worst case scenario, I feel like he could be George Hill. Which George Hill on those Pacer teams is great, but Larry Bird is kind of an idiot, and he had to whole step down and all that other garbage because he's kind of a traded George Hill. And then the 12th pick for Jeff Teague. I mean, who looks at Jeff Teague and is like, that's the guy that's going to push me over the edge? Jeff Teague. Come on now. But
Paul George will be a Laker any day now. I'm just waiting for it.
I mean, he looks at D'Angelo Russell and thinks, that's George Hill. I should join that team.
Exactly.
But no, I legitimately was thinking, if we get the second pick and the Lakers get the third, can we somehow swindle D'Angelo Russell from them, and still get Josh Jackson, and get D'Angelo Russell in the third pick, and be able to get Josh Jackson like we want, and get Russell, because I feel like Russell and Devin Booker would play really well together.
I don't.
How do you not think that? D'Angelo Russell is a great passer. He is not super ball dominant, but he can be. So when Booker is off the court, he could easily be the main ball handler while also deferring to Booker, while Booker is on the court.
Well, that's got to be in his contract. He has to defer to Devin Booker, and then maybe I'd take
Okay,
him.
hold on. Have you watched D'Angelo Russell play? He defers a ton.
Never. I hate
That's-
the Lakers. I can't even put him on my TV.
That's your problem. That's your problem. Is that D'Angelo Russell actually how he plays is he's a pass first guard, but he can take over if he wants to, which I think is perfect next to Devin Booker.
How many assists did this pass first guard average of the season compared to points?
Have you seen the people that he's passing to? I mean, all they are ISO
He asked you a
players.
question,
Who
David.
cares if you're pass first if you're not assist first? If passes doesn't
Okay,
even matter if
so
it's not an assist.
when you're
you know?
passing to Lou Williams,
Go Nuggets.
Julius Randle,
Lou
Brandon
can get
Ingram,
buckets, man. His name's
and
His name is Sweet
Yeah.
Lou.
but he didn't boost frickin' James Harden's assist numbers because all Lou Williams does is ISO. He's Lou Buckets, but he does it by ISO. I don't actually know D'Angelo Russell's numbers off the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to
Fake
look that up real
fan.
quick. You know what, you piece of like.
This has gotten
You guys
so
are,
far
like-
out of hand.
That's too much, son.
You guys are like so tanked up right now that you can't even like realize like, oh no, that would actually be like a decent fit. Like
I would hate that.
you
I
would
would
not.
hate that.
If you watched D'Angelo Russell, which by the way he averaged 4.8 assists,
Ooh,
which is not that good,
4.8.
but
4.8. That's not even 5.
good job, Chuck. You can do math.
Thanks.
Like, you are also the person that is like, oh, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double. Like, what a scrub. Like, D'Angelo Russell, with people that can actually shoot the ball, would be great. But when he's playing with people like Lou Williams and Julius Randle, who only know how to ISO, like, of course he's not going to get that many assists. But, like, for real, like, if you actually watch D'Angelo Russell, which I have, like, you would know that the people that he was passing to weren't spot-up shooters besides Nick Young as his best spot-up shooter. Like, if you take that into account, he should probably have more assists. And his games where, like, he took over a game for them and scored, like, 30-ish points, which we're not going to ask him to do if we traded for him, which all this whole thing is, I don't know why I'm talking about this in general, but I am. And I'm not stopping because I'm proving my point that D'Angelo would work great alongside Booker. And all I'm imagining is D'Angelo, Booker, I don't give a and then Bender and Chris,
You know what?
or TJ and Chris. Like, it would be awesome.
You're right.
And that's my
and,
pipe.
and that's because Devin Booker makes everyone around him so much better. That's why they would work well together.
But I don't think Russell does the same. Tyler Ulis makes
Tyler
his,
Ulis. No,
teammates
Tyler Ulis is a player.
Okay. If we but like, here's the thing: if we have Tyler Ulis and play Tyler Ulis, Russell, Booker,
No,
Warren / Jackson, and Chris, Russell can
it's
hit
like
3
7
pointers.
guys. That's like 7 guys. You can put 5
Yeah,
out
if
on
we
the
played
Hey.
7 versus 5, we'd win every game.
You know, you salty. I said 5 guys. I threw out 2 different 5-guy lineups just there, but we could play those and like throw out a solid lineup that can hit the 3 from every position, can guard like really well, minus like Tyler Ulis, who couldn't guard like 4 or 5s, but he could guard other stuff even though he's super short. But like, it would be great. And you know, you guys are.
You know what? This is supposed to be a Phoenix Suns Homer podcast, and we're talking nice about the Lakers. I can't stand that. I
I'm
just
only
can't have
talking
that on
nice
the
about
show.
D'Angelo Russell. What the hell are you talking about? I'm
You
only
know what I'm
talking nice
talking
about
about.
D'Angelo Russell right now. I just talked about how like their entire team was crap and all this other stuff, and how like we should like try and screw them over so they can have Lonzo Ball like they want to, and like Lonzo wants to, and get like D'Angelo and Josh Jackson out of the deal. Like, where am I talking nice about the Lakers? I'm talking about screwing them over.
You said something about how Kobe should come back to the league and start in front of Devin Booker on the Phoenix Lakers. I don't know, man. We just need to move it on, I think.
That's too much, son.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to episode 69 of the Sunny and Phoenix podcast, the Devin Booker Appreciation Show. So now I want to get into Devin Booker's hairstyle. You know, it's something that I think is truly special. We did our all-hair team last season, and I kind of regret
He was not on it.
I kind of regret not putting him on there, because this year he definitely would be. He's got the I don't even know how to explain it, like the faux hawk thing with the line shaved into the side. It's pretty dope looking. So, I mean, any thoughts on the Devin Booker haircut?
So where do we go from here?
here.
You know?
Any other?
I really hope that I remember the edits that I'm mentally making right now
There's a
of
lot.
like what I'm gonna
Oh.
do, because it's really funny. But I have a feeling that I might not.
This is going to be terrible. This is going to be bad.
Shut up! Are you saying I'm a bad? What else is there to say about his hair? He has 2 lines in it, and it's kind of a faux.
Anyway, welcome back to episode 69 of the Sunny and Phoenix podcast, the Devin Booker Appreciation Show. So, Devin Booker has one of the freshest haircuts in the league. Last year we did our all haircut team, and somehow we were all dumb enough to leave him off the list. This year that won't be the case. He's got a pretty cool faux hawk, if you will, with 1 or 2 lines shaved in it, and it makes him look like he's going fast all the time. Does anyone have any other comments on that?
I wish you would have said that, like, just a little bit more like Harry Carey.
It looks like he's going fast
Like
just about all the time.
See, I was
Exactly.
Hey, everybody.
I was thinking like freaking Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. It's like he might as well have flames shaved into the side of his head.
or little wheels
So-
on his head.
There we go. And, you know, we just had a debate that we probably had to edit out of the episode, but it may be confirmed that Devin Booker rocks the 2 stripes shaved into the side of his head, whatever the kids call that nowadays. But if the Nike deal ever falls out for him, we could
We can give him a deal
Go-
with Sport Clips.
I
No,
go to
no,
Sport
you
Clips.
go-
That's a great place.
hot towel shave. Is that a thing?
Only with the MVP.
But anyways, only with the MVP.
How? Okay, Google. Oh, it's not doing it because I'm on. Whatever. You know what? Stop it. I don't want you to call that. Devin Booker haircut. So this one, okay. So he does have 2 stripes. I know we just argued that.
2 or a few?
2. I guess like a few
2?
is also 2, but 2.
No, I'd say a couple is 2, a few is 3 or more.
Same.
Probably
Yeah,
like 3 to
same.
6 is a few, because
Well-
anything more than 6 is a bunch.
Hmm.
So the original crappy joke I wanted to make was maybe he can shave 1 more line into the side of his head if the Nike deal falls through, and then get picked up by Adidas.
Ooh.
You think that's a
I
possibility?
think that's smart.
That's a good joke.
Great idea.
That's a
think we
fantastic
should-
joke.
And if that falls through, he could shave an NB into his head and be sponsored by New Balance.
New Balance. New Balance. I'll tell you this as a married man: if you wear a pair of New Balance, Devin Booker does not wear New Balance.
No, he doesn't. Okay,
All
so
right,
I mean,
cool.
since we're talking about Devin Booker, like,
Oh my god, you know what I just found? Someone merged D'Angelo Russell and Devin Booker's faces together.
Oh,
and it looks really weird.
face swap. What would it look
No,
like
it's
if they had a
probably-
baby?
It's not even a face swap. It's one of those things about like, oh, what would their baby look
Yeah,
like?
yeah,
Their
that's what I
baby
just
look
said.
like.
That just made Devin Booker 50% less attractive.
There's also one of him and Alan Crabb, which is really weird.
What about what's
He's
his
got
name?
a lot of ears.
Alan, the guy who plays Snape in Harry Potter. Is there one of those?
No, but there's Ricky Rubio.
Oh, Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio is a handsome guy. I can't say the same about Ricky, though.
Wait, hold on. Are you arguing that Marco Rubio is a better looking man than Ricky Rubio? What the hell's wrong with you, boy?
That's what I just said, David.
Dude, have you
I
seen
stand
Ricky
by it,
Rubio?
and I don't
Is
even...
Ricky Rubio's full name Richard? Because I cannot imagine calling him.
No,
Richard.
his name is Ricky Rubio.
Okay, good.
At least as long
Wouldn't
in my
it
head
be-
canon. If Ricky
If
Rubio,
anything, it'd be Ricardo.
Oh yeah, I could see that, but not Richard.
if you were to take the human embodiment of a cat, it would be Ricky Rubio.
What?
Yeah, my cat's not a very good shooter either.
But he looks good while he's doing it.
Oh, I also don't have a cat.
But your
this a
non-existent
podcast?
cat looks really good while he's not shooting very well.
He can really dish it, milk dish it.
Oh yeah.
Do you think
'Cause both
Ricky
of 'em
Rubio
love
eats a
milk.
lot of fish?
And milk. Like a cat. Do we have anything else, or do we need to go to non-sports related plugs?
Hold on, we didn't even get Chuck's joke. I almost said Juck's choke. Chuck's joke about Adidas. I'm sorry.
Oh, I nailed that
I
already.
thought we
man.
did.
You missed it. I nailed it. everybody laughed. There was the rim shot and the symbol. It was good.
Did you?
Yeah.
You just missed it.
I feel like you didn't.
No, I gave
I
it.
thought we got it.
Ask the people. All the people watching this and listening to this, they remember.
Anyway, David, I believe, has some more information about Devin Booker on episode 69, including Michael Jordan. So let's hear it.
Yes. So, as you know, this has nothing actually to do with my tangent, but I wanted to go about this earlier. Now I just don't care enough to like edit it into the first part where like we talked about him getting drafted and stuff. But like, how great is it that not Magic Johnson, the other MJ, Michael Jordan, decided to decline 4 first-round picks for his number 9 pick in 2015 that he ended up taking Frank Kaminsky with, that the Celtics were offering him so that way they could pick Justice Winslow. Like, how awesome is that? Because, like, if he would have said, like, oh, yeah, cool, like, I'm good with 4 first-round picks, who isn't? And then let the Celtics pick Justice Winslow, then the Heat would have picked Devin Booker, and we would have had Frank Kaminsky. And, like, Frank Kaminsky's cool and all. How, like, awesome is it that, like, he decided to just draft Frank Kaminsky and decline that 4 first-rounder offer? Like, how much better would the Hornets have been if they would have, like, used common sense or had someone else make the decisions beside MJ?
So, back to my conspiracy theory that we kind of started the show off with. We knew that Michael wouldn't want Devin Booker to be with him in Charlotte, so he passed on him and took Kaminsky. And he turned down those 4 first-round picks just so he wouldn't have to have... He knew what would have happened. He didn't want Devin Booker in the East. He didn't want him falling to Miami. So that's why he declined that trade. He didn't want to see him in his practice gym. He didn't want to see him a few times a year when the Hornets and the Heat matched up. So, you know, really what you said just adds a little more reliability and believability to my original conspiracy theory.
Or maybe Michael Jordan is just a terrible view of talent, and that's why he picked Kwame Brown number 1 for the Wizards.
Great basketball player, great golfer, terrible front office member for an NBA organization.
Decent actor.
But, I mean, like, is he a great golfer? I mean,
Yeah, he is.
I mean, like, if you just compare him to Charles Barkley, like, I'm a great golfer. But, like,
right.
Same.
But MJ can play.
you're right.
MJ, man, I don't have the story off the top of my mind, but I know that MJ likes to gamble when he plays, but he plays good golfers when he gambles.
Okay.
So I think, you know, you have to win at least once to be able to make a bet over and over with a professional golfer. So he's got to be decent.
Can we transition to conspiracy theories and talk about, like, the conspiracy theory that he was actually, like, suspended from the league for that year and a half, and that's why he went and played baseball, because he was gambling and got his dad killed?
I mean, would you want Michael Jordan to get the Pete Rose treatment? Would you want to see that? Like, Pete Rose is he got drugged through the muck after it was found out that he was gambling on games. He can't get into the Hall of Fame. The guy, like, he goes around to sports autograph conventions and just, like, spits out autographs for cheap because there's, like, that's what he does for fame. That's how he sees his people. That's how he, like, everything's so messed up. And, like, as the league, the NBA, could you see them doing that to MJ? The greatest player to ever play? I just don't see it. Maybe that does hold some merit.
David Stern has done some really shady.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if there was one person in the entirety of, like, sports in general that I would expect to do, like, shady like that, it would be either David Stern or Roger Goodell.
Tom Brady. Just silence after the Tom Brady mention.
I know.
Everybody agrees with me not to say anything.
I see Mitch,
What a
like,
cheater.
I see Mitch talking, and there's gonna be audio on his audio once. Like, I get it, but, like, right now he's just mute. I don't know what he's saying.
Oh no. Have we heard from Mitch in like the last 15 minutes or so? I'm a little worried now.
Oh no, Mitch.
Crap.
Mitch has.
I forgot to unmute it. Oh. Roger Goodell is awful. That's what I was saying. Roger Goodell is just so terrible. I just want to say that.
See, I was gonna go into this conspiracy theory about how like Mitch, like actually traveled to the Bermuda Triangle, well, like we couldn't hear him, and that's the problem.
Yep,
and he was
that
actually
was it.
abducted by aliens.
You know, some people say the moon landing wasn't real. I'm not entirely convinced the moon is real.
It's actually a giant ball of cheese.
It's a hologram. Look into it, people.
You see, Mitch,
Open your eyes.
Mitch is actually on the same boat as Kyrie and saying that the Earth is flat. So
No, I'm not
Like-
on that boat.
Typical flat earthers.
like then you try and decline it because like you're afraid that people will not like you as much because you saw the like fallout from Kyrie, but like in reality you are the biggest Kyrie fanboy.
Well, I do like Kyrie. He makes a great pair of shoes. I will say that the Kyrie 2s are some of the best shoes I've ever owned. But
hold on, I thought you were gonna say he makes a great parachute, and I was just like wondering how you knew that he made a great
yeah, for when he falls off the side of the Earth, obviously. No, the flat Earth thing. I actually heard about that like a year ago. That it was gaining some traction, and you know, I'm really into conspiracy theories. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the show. I don't think I have, but I think that stuff is really interesting. But the flat Earth one is just one that I really, really struggle with, and like, I just have no inclination to even like study it.
Is that because conspiracy theories are like in general just really dumb?
I mean,
Or-
I think there's a lot out there that are very interesting, and that like are kind of cool and explain a lot of things, but there are some that are just flat out dumb, and I think that the flat Earth one is one of them.
I mean, jet
like,
fuel can't melt
I mean-
steel beams.
I mean,
Oh,
okay,
man.
9/11 conspiracies, like, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there, you know, but the flat Earth, I just don't see nearly as much like evidence. You know what I'm saying?
And that's gonna be all good, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? See what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Hear what I'm saying? See what I mean? Know what I'm saying?
Hey, so I'm going to be real. I just ran to the bathroom, came back in, heard something along the lines of steel beams and jet fuel. I think I heard something including those statements. Maybe let's just put this as a disclaimer at the top of the episode and leave it in here now because this is pretty ridiculous. But this episode is the equivalent of a post on Reddit.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have a crummy team and it gets a little. We're into those playoffs. There's not much for us to talk about right now, Phoenix Suns related. We did a way too early draft episode last week. We recognize that.
But it was a dope-ass draft episode.
It was good.
I thought it was good.
It was a good episode, but it was a little early. But what I'm getting at here is we're having some fun with it tonight. We put one of these out for you guys every week. We love that you listen. But, you know, we just wanted to have a good time tonight. We hope you guys enjoy it too.
Yes. Let us know in the comments below. Rate and subscribe. But
Let us know in
You
the
know, I
comments
think
that
below,
like button.
what is your favorite conspiracy theory?
yeah, I am happy to answer any questions anyone has on that kind of stuff.
Mitch will reply to every single YouTube comment made on this video.
I personally guarantee that.
Considering there's going to be one of you, it's going to be really easy.
Exactly. All one of you. Maybe. If we get that lucky this time. Anyway, thank you for listening to episode 69 of the Sunny and
Wait, hold
Phoenix
on. Are we really
podcast.
going to end it right there? Shouldn't we
Yeah.
like, go full circle and talk about Devin
Okay,
Booker or something?
let's bring it full circle. This is episode 69 of the Sunny and Phoenix podcast, the Devin Booker appreciation thread. We're just gonna wrap up with some final thoughts on Devin Booker. He's our baby boy. He's our golden boy, our shining little baby golden pony boy, and we all love him. I love his sweet shooting and his fancy hair, and his lack of defense. Just everything you could ever want from a Suns player. And he's going to be a truly special all-star caliber superstar within the next 3 years. You heard it here first. So, anyone else have any other thoughts before we wrap it on up?
Did you just say
I
that
do.
everyone that likes the Suns likes no defense and good shooting?
Basically.
Well, that's what we're here for, man. Like that's the style that we're used to.
You know
so.
what? Whatever, I'm down.
R.I.P. the Rockets, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
rough.
Man, Pringles. Man, Pringles.
It's
just
because
look
he
so
shaved the
defeated.
mustache.
I really felt like this was going to be the second year where Mike D'Antoni was going to be able to get past the Spurs, and I was really wrong. Like,
I think he was suffering from post-Pringle depression.
post-traumatic Pringles. Like, I actually started thinking about it and how, like, Mike D'Antoni's system, and I was doing a very serious, like, breakdown deconstruction by myself in my underwear eating Doritos. But, like,
The best way.
Excuse you, Pringles.
I wasn't eating Pringles because I wasn't thinking
Ah.
I wasn't thinking that far into the joke because I didn't actually do this. But like I was thinking and like man, like if D'Antoni could figure out a way to somehow implement like a somewhat like 75% 7 seconds or less and then a 25% like okay, actually set up a play right here. It'd be awesome. But he just can't do it. And then I just realized that he wasn't our coach in 2010. He didn't actually be able to get past the Spurs. It was Alvin Gentry. So R.I.P. Mike D'Antoni. Because I was trying to give you credit, and there's no credit to give.
R.I.P. in peace.
Like, do you think Mike D'Antoni will ever get past the Spurs? Or does he just, like, know that it's inevitable and just cry every night whenever he has to see them in his dreams?
I just hope it doesn't come to that point anymore. Like, I want the Spurs to not make the playoffs next year.
But, like, that's not going to happen. We know it's not going to
That'd
happen.
be beautiful. It'd be
But think
beautiful.
about how amazing that would be if the Spurs and the Lakers didn't make the playoffs.
I mean, like, the Lakers haven't made the playoffs in the last, like, 5 years. So, like, are you really going to still beat that
I
drum?
know, so we're halfway there.
And it gets better each year too.
I mean, like, I feel like just because of recency bias, like, I feel like I would much more rather the Spurs, like, not make the playoffs. Especially since they haven't made the playoffs for 1 year in their entire existence.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
actually
what a
I
Lakers
agree
fan
with
would
you.
say.
Well,
you know.
but I do agree with him on that, I have to say. I would rather see the Lakers get like an 8 seed or something,
I mean,
and
like,
us get like a 7.
if
and then
if they get the 8
the
seed
Spurs not make it.
by the Warriors, so.
Yeah, that would be enjoyable. Okay, so I'll just try to wrap things up, go full circle here. Devin Booker, episode 69. This is a tribute. You gotta believe me. Okay.
Okay, do you guys really think there's beef between Booker and Euless since they were both in Kentucky at the Derby and they didn't apparently hang out or have any Instagram posts with each other?
Oh, dang. That's bad news.
You just cut off my
I'm
wrapping
sorry,
it all up, full circle thing.
but
that hurts, man.
I mean, like, it hurts.
of course they're not fighting. They're best friends.
Are you sure,
They're best
though?
friends forever.
But they didn't have.
BFF.
But they didn't have Instagram posts together.
They're the kind of people that like lay on their beds with their corded phones and they like kick their feet up and lay on their stomachs, you know, and like rest their
No,
head on
you
their
hang up first.
hand.
No, you hang
Yeah.
up first. I'm never
I
gonna.
was just
hang
gonna
up.
ask, do they argue over who hangs up first? So I'm glad that Chuck went there too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly how
Uh-huh.
it goes. We know
That's
that.
that's what I imagine.
So here, wrapping.
But
things
they like
up.
live in the same place too, so it's like one room away.
Yeah, they do live like maybe 30 feet away.
They can
from each
actually argue through the like drywall of their bedrooms about who hangs up first.
other. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So
I'm sorry, you can go back to your like wrap things up. I'm sorry, Chuck.
Okay, full circle, wrapping things up. Devin Booker. Okay, first of all, if you've heard a few episodes, you've probably heard me talk about Game of Thrones in some extent.
Never.
Just never. Yeah, probably not. But I love Game of Thrones, the books, and the show. I read the books. I don't mess around.
But the movies are garbage.
So, no movies. But anyways, I will not spoil anything here, but a recurring deal within the books is the prince that is promised, also known as Azor Ahai for all of you nerdy Game of Thrones fans like me. But anyways, the prince that was promised, there are many prophecies about him and things that will happen before he comes. And we talk about this number 13 pick. The Kobe was the number 13 pick, and then he inhabited Devin Booker when he retired the next 13 pick to take things over. So we've seen things like this. I just really think that Devin Booker is truly the prince that was promised, that will come to Phoenix and save the Phoenix Suns from the Dark Knight, the Dark Brandon Knight. All of you Suns fans will enjoy it. All of you Game of Thrones fans should probably enjoy that because it just made me laugh at my own joke. So it must have been kind of funny. But anyways, Devin Booker, prince that was promised. He's taking things over, and that's all I got. I have no poetic ending to it because this has just been a ridiculous episode, and why would we make anything pretty on this thing? This is sloppy.
I mean,
This is how we
like,
roll.
you were just saying that, and you were, like, throwing it, like, to the wayside of how it was sloppy and stuff. But Kobe Bryant did have a recent meetup with George R.R. Martin recently.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm for real. There was an Instagram post of, like, him
What?
hanging out with
That's
George R.R.
wild.
Martin.
Wow.
Dude, I hope he's Kobe's like motivating him to push through the end and finish this book that we've all been waiting on for like a decade. We're just waiting for the next book to come out. Hopefully you got a little Mamba up in him. A little Mamba. George R.R. Mamba.
George R.R. Mamba.
Nice.
I think this actually just, like, convinced George R.R. Martin that, like, he shouldn't finish A Song of Ice and Fire, and he should instead, like, write under a new alias of George R.R. Mamba and write a new book series under that.
It's called Game of Zones.
I was gonna say
Only on Bleacher Report.
I was gonna say it was called Game of
Those are pretty funny.
Game of Bone. I was trying to think of some comic booky thing because George R.R. Martin, fun fact, huge comic book fan, and had a letter printed in an old issue of Fantastic Four back in the, like, late 60s, early 70s about how, like
when he was a kid, yeah.
yeah, like, about how great, like, the Thing was and all that stuff. So, like, he really was. It's not Game of Zones. It's called Game of. I don't actually can't think of a superhero that rhymes with Thrones, but A Song of Ice and Human Torch.
Game of Loans. It's about a banker.
A game of Iceman and Human Torch. It works.
There you
Okay.
go.
Nice. Well, for my non-sports related plug,
Wait, hold on. That wasn't my plug. I didn't get to plug my podcast called Upgeek Creek Pod. You can email
Okay,
us at
plug it.
upgeekcreekpod@gmail.com. You can go on YouTube, Upgeek Creek Podcast. There's a review of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that's dope and baller, and I'm not drunk while doing it. But, like, it's cool, and it's on YouTube, and it's not on anything else because I had other things to do in my life. But it's cool.
nice.
And you should check that out and send me emails and go to our Twitter, Upgeek Creek Pod, and, like, hang out and say cool stuff and talk about how George R.R. Martin really is the spawn of... Wait, no, he's not the spawn. He's the savior? Whatever. He's Jon Snow. Go to Upgeek Creek Pod on Twitter, on YouTube, on Gmail. Do it. It's great. Winky
Nice.
face.
All right. So I'm gonna plug an album that came out in 2013 by Thy Art Is Murder. It's called Hate. It's brutal. It's awesome. Listen to it. My favorite songs are Reign of Darkness, The Purest Strain of Hate, Immolation, and Infinite Forms. It just crushes. It's so heavy. So go listen to Hate by Thy Art Is Murder. And think about the Lakers when you listen to it.
Make sure to get a hold of us on social media. Our Twitter is @SunnyandPHXPod. Our email is sunnyandphxpod@gmail.com. And check us out over at our new host, the Deepish Thoughts Podcast Network, over at deepishthoughts.com.
Thanks for listening to the Sunny and Phoenix podcast. If you'd like to further support the show, you can head over to tpublic.com/user/sunnyandphx. That's teepublic.com/user/sunnyandphx. We've got t-shirts, mugs, phone cases, all kinds of stuff. You can get our famous cheese is warming up design, or just one that says Sunny and PHX. Again, tpublic.com/user/Sunny and PHX. And go Suns. All right, everyone. That'll do it. Thanks for listening to episode 69 of the Sunny and Phoenix podcast, the Devin Booker Appreciation Show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. You probably didn't, but whatever. Go Suns.